for the country. Then the marketing and the MSPs also we have been talking about. It has become a very hot topic. In many countries, the MSPs or the support prices are regulated or fixed based on the international prices. So it is fair to demand that an international price, including duties, should be given as a fair price, or we should be allowed to export freely. Either way, that is, you don't allow the farmer to get international price, nor you don't allow him to sell in the international market. That obviously is unfair, and only a strong pressure from the farmers' lobby would ensure that those decisions are taken, because the talk about the consumer price is meaningless, because everybody else's interest, the country is already, the governments are otherwise taking care of. If you take the employees, organized sector, the salaries are growing and going up. In the state government of Andhra Pradesh, after 1978, to the extent possible, our operations in order to be competitive, that is where one can think of asking some kind of tax concessions and policy changes on various mechanical equipment that is needed in agriculture. That should be, I think, probably, that can be one of the items that we can pose to the Union Ministry for, for affecting or while preparing the Union budget. Then, credit today, even though it's going up, as I mentioned, it has doubled in Andhra Pradesh through various means, it still continues to be a problem for a large number of people who are leaseholders, because the leaseholders number is significant in agriculture in the majority of the crops. We need to evolve credit policies to take care of their interests. That is where, instead of following a single policy, which is being now the focus before NABARD, etc., we need to look for various alternatives. Today, NABARD says, the banker says, you form joint liability groups, you form self-help groups, you form clubs, you only accept this group credit where the risk is shared by all. It looks as if there is no alternative, is something which they have been propagating. And we are always seized with this kind of psychology. In a particular decade, we evolve, we select one or particular things and then promote saying that nothing else except that is a solution for the problem. And today, it is all groups, group therapy. For everything they say groups. I think that is where probably we need to think of other models. In other countries, what I noticed, they appoint banking agents. Suppose if you are an input dealer or if you are a cooperative, he has a capacity to give security and is good and has the capacity to reach, then any bank can appoint it as an agent, and through it can pass on relaxing lot of things, because anyhow it is taking security. So various other models, various other alternatives need to be found instead of harping on only a single model, because a single model cannot be a solution for all. And finally, my suggestion is the time has come for demanding some of the social benefits, like contribution by the state for a pension benefit to all those people who cross 60 years, because after 60 it is very, very difficult for anyone to put physical effort. So there needs to be some kind of an effort to bring in some schemes that will ensure some kind of a pension benefit for all those people who are 60, and similarly some of the health insurance policies using farmers as groups by involving various institutions that are existing, be it cooperatives, farmers plus and various means. So that is, I think, probably another agenda which one can, one can flag it to the Union Cabinet as a pressure group. To our part, finally, what I would like to say is, as far as state government is concerned, what Mr. Changaleddy has mentioned, the commodity interest groups formation as a policy. 30% किसान जो cooperatives में रहते हैं, उनके जो प्रोडक्शन मार्केटिंग का ये मामला कोऑपरेटिव तरह से करते हैं। हमारे देश में इतनी बड़ी, हम समझते हैं अमेरिका इंडिपेंडेंट कंट्री है, वो है, ये है, कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर है, मगर 40% कोऑपरेटिव थ्रू से करते हैं। तो हमारी ये छोटी किसान को कोऑपरेटिव बनाना बड़ी इम्पोर्टेंट है। दूसरा जो है, जब एमएसपी ये मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस फिक्स करने का टाइम पे इंटरनेशनल प्राइसेस भी कैलकुलेट करके लिखा, ये बहुत अच्छा इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है। ये आइंदा हमारी जो यहाँ जो हमारी जब जो फाइनल रिकमेंडेशन करते हैं ना, इसमें इसको भी हम जरूर उसमें इंक्लूड करेंगे। तीसरा जो है, किसान को पेंशन देने का चीज, ये बहुत अच्छा है, ये बहुत है, इसलिए बहुत आभारी है। और आखिरी में ये बोले, आंध्र प्रदेश में पहली बार कम से कम 20,000 जो छोटी जो कमोडिटी इंटरेस्ट ग्रुप थे, फसल का कमोडिटी ग्रुप्स 40, 50, 100, 200 लोगों को लेकर सब ग्रुप्स बनवाते, उसको फेडरेशन तैयार करते, उसको बेचने का सहायता देते, उसको एक्सटेंशन वर्कर देते, ये सब चीज उन्होंने बोले। वी आर वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू यू सर फॉर हैविंग अग्रीड। And gentlemen, we take this opportunity to thank him because he has to go and attend as a secretary of an important meeting. We welcome you, sir, and thank you very much. The most expected and awaiting advisor of World Bank, because richest person. She has brought a big suitcase. Please do not come. We are awaiting your message.
Mr. Changaleddy, Mr. Rao, Mr. Reddy, other distinguished guests and friends. I'm really happy to be here and very honored to be here, to have been invited to this very important meeting. I think it's a very important opportunity for me and for our office to really understand what are the issues and concerns that the agricultural sector has, and especially you, the farmers. Because we realize that agriculture is very important to India, especially since a large proportion of the poor are also dependent on agriculture. I think it has been said already yesterday that there's a big concern of the rapidly increasing incomes of urban people, but the farmers and the incomes of people in rural areas have not really grown as fast. Just to let you know, the World Bank is really committed to agriculture and improving the situation of farmers. Right now, our commitments or our support to the different state governments in India amount to $4 billion, which is about 16,000 crores. And this is to support a large range of activities, from agricultural research to supporting irrigation, forestry, watershed management, and in improving livelihoods in rural credit. To the person in Tamil Nadu who mentioned that the government is not doing anything to transfer resources to you, I will definitely raise that with my colleagues and also to raise this with the government. Similarly, in Andhra Pradesh, I realized that it's the same thing, that the government is very slow to give and transfer the management of the irrigation systems to distributory level committees, and we are also following that up with the state government. Actually, the state government has asked us for additional support in irrigation amounting to almost $1 billion. But we have told them that there are some things that need to be done first. And one of them is to transfer management to the distributive level committee. I will bring it back. So I really appreciate your feedback, and if there's anything else you want me to bring back with me, please just give it to me before I go. Now, in the discussion this morning, it has been raised many times that it is important to have a minimum support price for the different commodities, whether it be rice or wheat or turf or sugar. One thing I wanted to raise, though, is the issue of investments in agriculture, which for our government of India and most state governments has also been declining. Now, this is very important, I think, for you to also raise in your discussion, because these investments are also important to improve the profitability of farming. Profitability in the sense that if you're able to increase your productivity could be for the same level of input, fertilizer, water, you're able to increase your yield by 20, 30, 100%. That will improve your profitability. The other option is also for you to reduce your cost. This could be the cost of labor, or the cost of fertilizer, or the cost of water. Now, that I didn't hear very much this morning, so I thought that was one thing I would focus on this afternoon. For example, the yields in Orissa for rice is about 1/3 of Punjab. Now, why is that? And a lot of it is because of also the types of varieties or hybrids that are available to maybe some states, but not in others. So this means that our research system, particularly ICAR, also needs to have a more balanced sort of program so that the technology needs in Orissa and Punjab are given the same level of attention. The same thing can be said between irrigated crops like rice and wheat, which has been the focus of our research, of the Indian research system. At the same time, there has been less emphasis on rain-fed crops, like pulses and groundnuts and other varieties that are grown in rain-fed areas. So I think bringing more attention also to the technology needs of farmers in rain-fed regions, which account for almost 60% of the country, will be as important. So I think your voice in bringing this up, I think, would be a big advantage. The second is that of extension. I don't know how many of you have talked to your extension agent in the past season. Oftentimes they're very difficult to find, or they're very busy and there are not enough of them. I must say that the extension system in most states have collapsed. So again, bringing this up to the government to strengthen the extension system that meets your needs, I think is very important. The third, I think, so these are all increasing productivity. The same thing with the use of water. How do we manage water? Because in many areas, I know in Andhra Pradesh, the water table is going down very quickly. How do we use water better is something maybe the extension can also address. The second area I thought would be very important is also to reduce your cost. For example, fertilizer costs. When farmers buy fertilizer individually, you do not have any bargaining power. However, if you are buying fertilizer as a group, then you have bargaining power. And let me give you the example in Madhya Pradesh. We are piloting some producer companies. And the producer companies are buying fertilizer in bulk. As a result, they are able to sell their fertilizer to their farmer members at 10 to 15% cheaper than they were buying by themselves. So here the issue of, again, finding other ways to also reduce your cost can also make a big difference in improving profitability of farming. The other thing also that I wanted to talk about is the importance of markets. Because I think in the past, we have also always, as farmers, always been focusing on producing more. But sometimes producing more also causes the prices to crash. So it's important to talk about the marketing as well. In this case, again, marketing together also gives you more bargaining power rather than marketing individually. And the role of SIFA and producer organizations will then be very critical. Because, for example, we have a project here in Andhra Pradesh where they organize, actually some women's turmeric farmers. And what they found that if they marketed individually, they were really not getting a good price. But then in working together as a group, doing cleaning of the turmeric, doing grading of the turmeric, they were able to get 15 to 20% more and have better bargaining power with the trader than they were selling individually. So issues about value addition at the farm is very important. We were in Punjab about a month ago, and they were saying that if they can sell their maize dry, they can get a 10 to 15% higher price. So why is it that more farmers are not drying their maize? And they say, well, there's not enough drying area in the mandis. So investments, even in terms of drying areas, can make a big difference to improving profitability of farming. Your costs are the same, but your price increases. So, but like I said, these are investments that need to be made, but are not being made right now because government has sort of reduced its investments in agriculture. Another example is that of losses. I am told often that the losses in, for example, fruits and vegetables in India is about 40%. Now, I'm also told that if you quantify the volume of fruits and vegetables that are lost, it's equivalent to the whole consumption of fruits and vegetables of the United Kingdom. So that's a whole country. So if the question is, what can we do to reduce these losses? Because in the end, if these losses are being borne by you, the farmers, because then somebody has to pay for it, so they just pay you a lower price, because there's so much losses in the system. But to reduce these losses means investments, again, in the marketing system. I mean, if you look at the mandis in most of the states, they're in a very bad condition. Oftentimes they don't have any roof, there is no road, there is no water, there is no drainage, there is no warehouse, there is no cold storage. Now these are the things that investments that are very important that can also reduce the losses. And again, for fruits and vegetables, 40% is the consumption of one country. How much of a gain that could be if that losses were reduced and therefore the gains can be shared by all the farmers in the community. So the question then is, I think we should also, in addition to the MSP, we should also bring the government's attention to the issue of investments in agriculture. Not to forget that investments in research, extension, marketing, market information, roads, is also very important for farming to increase profitability. I mean, for example, in market information, most of the time, farmers, when they want to know what the prices are, you would ask your neighbor or maybe your trader. One thing actually that we, the World Bank, would like to pilot is to send information on prices through the cell phone. Because earlier this morning you mentioned that almost all of you have cell phones. So the idea is, for example, to give information to you through the cell phones for the 5 nearest markets. But to make it more accessible is to make it in the local language. Because sending out prices in Hindi or in English is not going to be very helpful to most farmers. So we would like to send the information in Marathi or Kannada or Telugu, depending on the farmer's needs. But in addition, maybe it's also useful to send information on weather, so that you know if it's going to rain, you don't plow or you don't fertilize because this will be wasted. I think these are the kinds of investments that will also make your farming more profitable. Finally, I think you have a very important resource, you as a farmers organization, to share also good experiences across states. Because I think, for example, in Punjab, I know the Secretary just raised the example of rising labor costs of agriculture, and this making farming less profitable. We discovered that they have some machinery hiring services run by a producer organization. So rather than each individual farmer who cannot afford to buy a tractor or a harvester by himself, if a group of farmers can buy it together and set up a producer company, they can invest some of their money but also get a UP or Maharashtra. You have some very interesting and progressive approaches. And I think this forum can also be an important mechanism for you also to share these good experiences and bad experiences, what works and doesn't work. So I think capitalizing on this resource that you are here and you are together may be useful. And if there's anything else that we, the World Bank, can do, we'd also...
Complaint, suggestions. I mean, because it's a development project which you are doing, we are very greatly appreciate the wonderful work, and we please convey to the country director and everybody that we are immensely grateful because you have spent 16,000 crores. This is the amount which you said, and you are willing to spend more and more. We are very grateful to you. And now I request Dr. Rao, Chief General Manager, NABARD.
Especially with regard to participatory irrigation management, what World Bank has done.